Hey guys, welcome to a special wrestling news. This is basically going to be AEW Rules change. It's being reported all over the place, and um, there that AEW has had a major rules change. They sent out a document with a list of moves that are banned or require approval from above. Banned moves list includes unprotected chair shots to the head, strikes to the back of the head. Well, I'll go better into that. It's on the other page here. Okay. Table, ladder, chair spots in and out of the ring, only allowed with padding. Any elevated spots outside of the barricades, dives, and ladder spots on stage around the arena and other places outside of the ring. All pile driver tombstone variations, including sit-down drivers, inverted poison hurricane rana, and vertebreakers. High-risk dives or top rope moves, a 450 or 630, double moonsaults, SSP, I'm not sure what that is, etc. Intentional bleeding any sort, not just blading. Throwing people into, through, over ring steps, commentary table, bell table or guardrails, barricades. Weapon usage: chairs, pipes, kendo sticks, hammers, ring bells, bats, chains, etc. Title belts. Thumbtacks, skewers, barbed wire, and other sharp puncturing objects. Powders, aerosol sprays, or liquids. Throwing any weapons or objects, chairs, etc. Choking, strangling with hands or a weapon, or hanging spots. Injury spots or angles, whether or not medical is involved, called to the ring. Any physicality in the crowd or crowd brawling. Any physicality involving referees, managers, extras, celebrities, or special guests. This is all reasonable, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, we talked about unprotected chair shots, strikes to the back of the head, blind moves backwards into the turnbuckle, like the buckle bomb, spitting, and selling like one is having a seizure. Wrestlers are also prohibited from physical contact with the crowd, including taking food or drinks from the fans in attendance. And weapons and projectiles in the crowd are a no, as is bleeding in the audience. Okay. The list of moves that require approval: bumps on the ring apron or outside the ring. Okay. That one means well, first of all, the ring apron, the edges of it is the hardest part of the ring. No wrestler likes to bump on that anyway. One of the things that would have to get prior approval is Christopher Daniels' Arabian press to the outside. Now, I've talked about the fact that some buildings have a much narrower distance between the apron and the guardrail, and it's not conducive to that move, of which he was not warned beforehand and slammed his legs into the top of the barricade. I've also seen AJ Styles slam his legs into the top of the barricade doing a spin. So you really need to make sure there's room. You know, you have guys who do certain things. You need to make sure there's a safety space for them to do it that's safe for them and safe for the crowd. If a spot with a table, a ladder, or a chair is to happen, it needs to be pre-approved. Any kind of pile driver, Hurricane Rana, needs to be pre-approved. Now, I know people are going to roll their eyes at Hurricane Rana, and I get it, but Hurricane Rana could be dangerous for the person giving it as well as the person receiving it. Even more so for the person giving it, potentially, because they could fall on their head. So you need to let everyone know, hey, this is what's going to happen. Using weapons and throwing objects. Throwing objects should not be happening because there are people around that aren't part of the deal that could get hit. I'm sorry, half of the AEW's referees are female, so they shouldn't be being bumped by the males anyway. And certainly not dodging things being thrown. Choking with hands or weapons. High-risk dives and top rope moves, which means BME will have to get prior approval. And it's funny, because he's the head of talent relations. So who's he going to get prior approval from? Himself? I think what would happen is he would go to whatever coach / road agent / producer happens to be producing this match and say, look, this is what I'm doing. Of course you're doing the BMA. You've been doing it for a zillion years. You know? We get these kids trying to do things that they're not prepared to do. And that's what they're trying to avoid. They're not saying that a guy that's been wrestling for 30 years and doing a BME for 25 can't do it. What they're saying is they want prior approval because they want to make sure that guys are doing things properly and that the coaches are making sure that guys know what they're doing before they do it. So somebody doesn't break a neck. Any bleeding on purpose, any bleeding. Fake injury spots, and I think that's a good thing. Any spot or brawling in the crowd. I don't think they'll get approval for that. Any spots involving non-wrestlers like referees and managers. Well, I think those would have to be pre-approved anyway so that the manager and the referee are aware of what's going to happen. I think that's going to be better for the wrestlers, for the crowd, for the referees, managers. Most of the managers in AEW are, sorry guys, old men. Seriously, most of the managers in AEW are like Arn Anderson, who only has one hand that even works. We have no business letting anyone hit him. Even though I know that he would be more than willing to take the bump, I also know that he shouldn't. So, Lord, my skin is just falling off. Yeah. So I don't think that's a bad idea. Tully left. I think, who else is managing that now? Tully left. Regal left. So I'm trying to think of who is managing. Anyway. I know Arn is. And like I said, ref spots, half their refs are female. So I think it's much safer not to do ref spots. And if you do it with trained male refs, like I believe Mike Posey is reffing in AEW, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I can talk. If I'm not mistaken, Mike Posey is wrestling there. Mike Posey is a very experienced wrestler, and a decent one at that. Who knows how to take a bump safely. So I think you need to make sure that it's a referee that knows what he's doing, knows how to take him up, knows how to take it safely. These are just my opinions. And it's nothing against Aubrey Edwards. It's nothing against, I don't know her name. There's a beautiful African American lady who's a referee. Matter of fact, they have one both in AEW and in WWE. African American female referees, which is like unheard of. Female referees were almost unheard of. World Wrestling Federation had a female referee way back for not a very long period. She was actually quite popular. And the very first female interviewer or whatever was Bonnie Blackstone. The first female ring announcer was Mike McGurk. It didn't hurt her position, getting that that her father was a well-known wrestling promoter, Leroy McGurk, but not to say she didn't do a great job, because she did. So there has been precedent for that sort of thing, and they have some great female ring announcers now, in both companies. In fact, in Impact TNA, they actually had a female ring announcer when JB, Jeremy Borash, took a bigger backstage role. And he wasn't able to do all the ring announcing. Christy Hemme, who was originally in the World Wrestling Federation, she had won the Diva Search one year, and became didn't do a ton there. I went to TNA and became, like I said, the top ring announcer. I think she started out as one of the knockouts and then became the top ring announcer. So, like I said, when Jeremy Borash went backstage to do more work, and the guys loved Jeremy. JB is well respected among the guys and gals. And so yeah. But Christy did a great job. So it's not that a female isn't capable, because they absolutely are, and they're capable of reffing. And you'll notice the guys respect the female refs more, which is weird, but it's true. So, I do believe that these things will be safer. And I do think you need to get prior approval. If you're going to involve a referee, because the referee has to know, hey, you're going to take a bump. It can't be, hey, ref, take a bump, 3 seconds before they're about to get hit by a 230-pound man. It needs to be done beforehand for safety. I completely agree with that. Pile drivers, they're just bad news. And Jim Cornette has talked about this and the tendency for guys to try to do a triple-double whatever, and it just ends up in disaster. So he said, it's like, what can you show them, the fans next, that, that they'll want to see when you keep showing them more and more high risk. And I think this helps with that. So I wanted to bring you that, talk to you about it. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll get to the genealogy video momentarily. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. God bless you. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye, guys. Mwah.